you, about 2 to 3 hours after the webinar ends, you'll receive a follow-up email from GoToWebinar saying that the recording is ready. For those that may be missing it, they'll also get it. But I encourage you to share the recording with your colleagues as well, because the more people that know about the service, the better off we are. So again, just to reiterate, please make sure that you go ahead and use the question box to enter both questions and suggestions as to how you guys have promoted. Download your handouts. And one other thing is we're currently running our survey for our clients. We do this every summer. And so after the webinar is over, you're actually going to get 2 surveys. One is this one, and it's the general Tutor.com, how are we serving you kind of survey. It wants to take a look at the service we provide as a whole, but also in your follow-up to the webinar with the recording, you'll receive a survey specifically about the webinar. And the more feedback we can get, the more we can improve future webinars. So I really ask you guys to just take a couple minutes and fill out both of those surveys for us. So getting started, let's take a look at the agenda for today. We're going to go over quite a bit of information, and you guys are going to see some new stuff, which is always exciting. First thing that I want to talk about are the new subjects that Tutor.com is adding for the 2016-2017 school year. The majority of these subjects will be added to your program automatically. If they're not already there, there is no additional charge for these, for the subjects that we have listed. There is one drop-off algebra service, though, that we'll talk about a little bit. That's going to be optional. So you guys don't have to have it if you don't want it. So we're also going to talk about how to get staff training completed. We're doing something a little different this year and looking specifically at how to use monthly reports to help you drive your outreach in the right direction. And then we'll go over some areas of promotion and outreach with specific suggestions, including the basics, which some of you have heard for 8 years in a row. I know, but we have to cover them every year. So we'll look at the basic steps that need to be taken, and then we're going to talk about how to reach specific audiences and what are some good audiences to target for this year. And then some ideas that we've received from our library clients about creative contests they've held in order to promote and encourage use of Tutor.com. Last thing, I encourage you all to stick around for this because it's really cool. In August, we are going to be releasing all brand new marketing material. So there's posters, flyers, bookmarks, everything that you guys use to hand out and promote the service are getting a brand new look and feel to them. And so I want to be able to show those to you. All right, so jumping into the new subjects, Tutor.com is always looking for ways to improve its service for students as well as for you, our library partner. And this year, we focused on adding new subjects for the 2016-2017 school year. So the subjects that you are going to find over the next couple weeks, they're being added. You'll have a Microsoft Office suite for tutoring in Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. That's going to be filed under a general subject heading of computer literacy. The reason for that is within the next year, maybe 2 years, it depends on how long it takes us to staff up, we're going to look at adding some coding, possibly C++, HTML coding, things like that in there. We don't have enough qualified tutors to cover the math, but that's why it's under computer literacy, because we are looking to expand. You should also have ESL and ELL for 8th grade and above, as well as reading comprehension for 8th grade and above. The primary grades are in development here, but one thing that we're running into problems with is the fact that our classroom is text-based. It's the chat-based with the whiteboard, and we're looking at possibly adding audio for the younger students, especially when it comes to reading, but the quality is not quite where Tutor.com wants it to be yet, and so we won't release that until we know that we can do an exceptional job with those subjects. But for now, we do have ESL and reading comprehension at 8th grade and above. We're also adding pre-calculus. This is a subject many students have been using Tutor.com for years by logging in with an Algebra 2 or Calculus tutor, but we've never actually called it out. And so there's possibility that we've been missing some students that go in, look at the list, they don't see their subject, and so they go away. So we're going to go ahead and start calling out the pre-calculus as a subject that's available in the subject list. And then the optional subject, many of our libraries have actually already gotten this and opted in at their renewal time, but if your library has not and you would like it, let us know. But we have added a drop-off Algebra 1 and Algebra 2 service. This is for students that may have missed a problem on their homework assignment, quiz, test. They don't understand why they missed it. They need somebody to really explain it in depth for them, but they don't want to sit in the session. So they could go ahead and drop off that problem, and we'll write up a stepwise explanation of everything that needs to be done and why it's done that way in the problem. So again, if you don't have this on your program already and you would like it, please just let us know. And then something else that's going to be coming. We just wonderfully hired a new Chief Product Officer. She came over to us from the College Board, and she is going to help us improve the content outside of the tutoring that is available on Tutor.com. So we're going to be looking at adding things like videos and practice tests and quizzes and worksheets and note sheets and all different kinds of content that students can use as supplemental resources. Currently, we have it in the Skills Center. Skills Center is not my favorite thing in the world, probably not your favorite thing in the world either. We know that, so we're revamping the whole thing. I know one of the first things that will be pulled in will be Princeton Review test prep material. Since Tutor.com and Princeton Review are one and the same company, we just, for some reason, keep different names, but that's okay. We're going to be pulling a lot of the proprietary material that we have from the Princeton Review test prep side of things into a new content section. One thing that will help us a lot, though, is if you guys can tell us what topics or areas of content are most important to you. And so I'm going to go ahead and put up our first poll and ask you guys, there we go, ask you guys to just answer this question. I'll give you a few minutes here, or not a few minutes, a few seconds here to answer the poll. So what type of content would you like to see first on Tutor.com? What's the most important to your community? All right, a high percentage of you guys have already voted. Great, it looks like it's still going up. Just a couple more folks needed, so let us know what's the most important. Okay, it looks like it's just about done here. So unfortunately, the way GoToWebinar works, I can't display the polls. By the way, if anybody else does webinars like this, something when you've seen a really great system that has been used that helps engage, let me know what it is. We're looking for a new way to do our webinars. So if you've seen something really cool out there, let me know. But anyway, I'll give you the results here. 67% of you said that high school test prep is the most important. So that's great news, since that's something that, you know, we are definitely going to be adding quickly with the Princeton Review material. The second one coming up is middle school STEM. 42% of you said middle school STEM resources are important. Completely understandable. That's definitely where it starts getting more and more difficult to cover those areas. And then 28% said elementary STEM. The other two, the language arts, not so much. So I think that's because libraries have that stuff covered pretty darn well. But we are planning on that focus in the high school test prep, and it's great to see the middle school and elementary STEM there. So thank you for that input. Next up, beyond the new subjects, let's talk about making your program a success. Okay, what steps do you guys need to take in order to ensure students know about the service and your patrons know about the service? The very first thing, and I will preach this all the time, I've been preaching it for 8 or 9 years now, staff training. Everybody knows somebody that needs Tutor.com. So it is extremely important to get as many staff members familiar with the service as you can. Tutor.com offers several ways to do this. On our Client Resource Center, which is www.tutor.com/clients, this is password protected, so when you go, if you don't know your password for it, just click Forgot Password. We have, my whole team is on alert that there's a webinar today and we're going to get password requests. So they're ready to answer those quickly and get it over to you. But tutor.com/clients, you will get in there and you'll see a trainings and webinars section. Click on there and it's going to take you to a whole big list of different learning opportunities that you have through Tutor.com. One of those is what you need to know about Tutor.com. It's our general training. We run monthly webinars of those, and if the staff cannot make it to one of the live events, we also have a link to the recording available on that same page, so they can go ahead and watch the recording. Now, this does run about an hour long because we cover Tutor.com in detail. We want to make sure we're equipping the staff with the answers they need for questions they're going to get from patrons. And so if they don't have time to watch the full recording, they need to at least watch the demonstration video. That's only 7 minutes long. It's not much time at all. And so I would definitely suggest that you share this with as many staff members as possible and get them into a monthly webinar or watching the recording or the demo video. If you guys happen to want a custom training, one that's made specifically for your library, and you're able to get your staff together at that time, you know, at one time, let us know. And we'll be happy to work with you to set up a customized staff training. Now, I see a question may have came in. Oh, yeah, Deborah, we're going to get to that. So you just, clients, plural. You need an S on the end of clients there. And I will show you the different promotional materials that we have available. Yes, we have some in Spanish, so we'll get there. So for the training, get them in there. like I said, everybody knows somebody that needs Tutor.com. When was the last time you went in a training, though? Oh, and I just noticed I didn't close the poll. Oh, my goodness, so you guys couldn't even see all these beautiful things I was pointing out to you. This is what it's going to look like. Trainings and webinars. Click on here. It will take you to a list of everything. And then you'll also have, here's the link, Tutor.com/clients. I will come back to this page in just a second, but I want to see when is the last time you personally attended a Tutor.com training. Aha, just as I suspected. We actually see this every year, and it doesn't surprise me one bit. 50% of you said never. So there's quite a few folks out there who are not really overly familiar with the service and how to promote it or how to speak about it to different audiences. And so I'm really going to encourage all of you. Let me go ahead and I'm going to close this out so I can share the Tutor.com clients page with you guys and show you how to get in here. I hope to see the registration links or registration counts go up. So, all right, let's look again. Tutor.com/clients. You will enter a password and you will get into this opening page. We're going to click on the trainings and webinars page. At the top right now, of course, are our back-to-school webinars because those are so popular, and we want to make sure folks can find them easy. But if you scroll down the page, learn more about Tutor.com with an introduction to the Learning Suite. So it looks like, well, yesterday's is past, but in August, we have 2 live events on the 9th and the 24th. We also have this recorded webinar link right here. So again, if you can't make it to a live event, let's go ahead and watch the training video. If an hour is too long for you, then back up at the very top, we do have a demonstration video. So go ahead and watch that demonstration video. If you would like to set up a custom training for your library, just click on Contact Us, and you can get in touch with any of us. So I'm Susan. Bob is my most senior client services manager. He actually works with the majority of you guys, so he can help you out. If you're a newer client, you may be familiar with Alyssa or Ralph, but honestly, all of us can help you get this set up. So just pick one, email us, and we'll be happy to help you out. All right. Just so you know, other things on the trainings and webinar page, every quarter we offer non-Tutor.com related just informational webinars that are of interest to librarians. And so you might want to take a check or take a look at these. We talked about advocacy for your library and for your programs, how to start a teen department or teen program in your library. And then we talked about how people learn, how students learn, and how you can use some of the techniques that Tutor.com uses in your everyday interactions with teaching patrons, different things. So those were all great webinars that we had, and you're welcome to look at any of them. But this staff training, I hope to see you guys signing up for those. You just click on this top link to register for any of them that are down below. And we'll add September and October in there very soon. All right, staff training number 1, get it done. The next thing, though, that I want to talk about are reports. How many of you actually receive the monthly report and open it? I guess I should say. So how many of you get the Tutor.com monthly report and look at it? You see, I'm really asking all of these questions of you guys so that I can drink my coffee as we're going through the webinar before it gets cold. Okay. All right. Interesting. Interesting. So far, and we still have a few more folks to vote, but so far, about 71% of you do not receive the monthly reports. So monthly reports are not just used for giving data to your board or reporting circulation numbers and things like that. The Tutor.com monthly reports can be extremely useful when it comes to promotion. And so we can add as many report recipients as the library would like. Anybody can get them. And so in just a little bit, when the poll closes, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to get on the list to receive monthly reports. So yeah, we ended up with 73% that don't get them. 14% get them, but don't look at them. You guys, come on, you got to open these. They're useful. And thank you very much to the 14% who do open them and look at them on a regular basis. Very good job. I hope I can give you some tips today on how to use these reports to your benefit. So looking back at my screen now, if you want to receive monthly reports, just email us at clientsupport@tutor.com. Say, can you please add me to the monthly reports for such and such library, and tell us what your library program is, and we'll go ahead and get you added in there. Monthly reports go out on the 3rd of each month. So the next one going out will go on August 3rd, and it will cover the month of July. I'm going to come back to this screen in a little bit, but let me show you what it looks like when you get that email. So monthly reports go out via email. They usually have a PDF version of the report on there, and some of them, if you've requested it, has Excel file too. We also include a link to all of the past monthly reports for your library. So for those of you who have not been getting these all along, you can actually go back and look at the previous monthly reports. So you would click on that archive link, and it's going to take you to a list. And honestly, this list goes all the way back to the beginning of your program. So for those libraries that have been with us since 2001, 2002, they're going to have a very, very long list of monthly reports in here. But you can use these to see which direction your library's usage is trending. So shareables are best in PDF if you're going to share it with somebody, but if you want to crunch numbers and work with the data at all, we do have that Excel file available on there. When you get the report, it's going to be filled at the top with trend graphs and charts. And these are really the areas that I think will help guide you guys in the right, best place to go. So every month you want to at least open the report and look at your trends. Where are you reaching students? Where are you missing students? Look at the different grade levels. Look at the different subjects, because this is going to tell you who you need to reach out to. If you've recently gone out and done a demonstration at the middle school for all the 7th graders, and you see that 7th grade usage has increased or has grown, then you know you had a successful outreach program, and that's something you want to duplicate. But if we look at, let's look at this chart here. You guys can put answers in the question boxes as I'm asking questions if you want to, but, I look at this and say, okay, what are we missing? Where are we missing students on this particular report? Obviously, we've gotten some college students who know about it and have probably shared it with their friends, and that's great. We have a good adult usage too. But if we look at the high school, 12th, 11th, 10th, 9th, this doesn't even add up, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That doesn't even add up to about half of what we're serving in adults. And as we look lower down, you know, it just gets smaller and smaller in terms of awareness. And so I think what I would do in a case like this, if I see this trend continuing month over month, I would start reaching out to this 5th through 7th grade, or even just 6th through 7th, depending on how your school system is set up, middle school versus junior high versus intermediate. It's strange in different places. But I think I would start at those younger grade levels, because that's obviously where we don't have much awareness. And the next thing I would look at, though, is a subject chart. And we get a subject chart very similar to this as well, except, well, no, maybe it's a pie graph. And I'd see what subjects are we serving the most of in these areas that we are hitting. Most likely, it's going to be math or science. Math, science, and writing are the 3 most used core subjects of Tutor.com. And so what I would do with something like this is I'd take my 7th and 8th grade, 6th, 7th, 8th, whatever the school system's made up of, and I would target the math teachers. So if math is the most used subject in your district, I'd target the math students in those grades and reach out to the teachers, send them an email about the service, maybe ask if you can demonstrate the service to them, send them some student testimonials. In each one of your reports, if any of the students have left comments, you will receive those comments, and they can be very loud when it comes to promotion and effectiveness. Use them, especially when you find comments that say, this has really helped me improve my grade, I aced my test last week after using Tutor.com, things like that that actually talk about a story. Other ones that are very good to take to funders and things like that are, Mom and Dad can't afford a tutor, so this is really helpful to me. Look for those stories in your student comments and use them when doing outreach to teachers or to school administrators, but also use them as a header or subheader for a newsletter article. Tweet it, Snapchat it, make it pretty and Snapchat it, whatever, post it, things like that. The thing is, you need to use the information in here. So a popular subject, sharing with the teachers, like I said, we're going to talk about some relevant messaging in a little bit with that. But these reports can be extremely useful, and you're going to get tons of data in them. Your total usage, time spent in session. This can be helpful, again, when going to funders, because you can say, okay, Tutor.com spent this many tutoring hours with our patrons, and if you take the average cost of a private tutor in your community, multiply that by the hours, you can say we saved the community this much money. Or you can also, if the staff time is an issue, I know some libraries still have not recovered all of their staffing after the recession, so you can say that, we spent or Tutor.com had this many hours worth of tutoring sessions. That is staff time saved, where we were not trying to help patrons with subjects that we may not necessarily be qualified to help them in, kind of thing. So use all of these different areas by grade, by subject. The Skill Center and quizzes are on there as well. Once we add the optional or the new content, you're going to have a section for that. All of your survey results are on here, account holders. Remember, for most programs, though, you can have what we call guest users. They do have to enter a library card number, but we don't track that library card number to sessions. So just because if you go in and you see a low account holder number, that does not mean that those are the only students using the service. Those are just the ones who have elected to go through the account process to get optional features. Other things you can have added to your report, if you would like, would be a zip code. So the student would enter at the beginning of the session, we ask them, what's your zip code? So if you're in a larger district and want to see that breakdown, we can add that to your report. Another good one that I'm seeing this year that a lot more of our clients are using is a school drop down. So again, they can feed information back to the school to strengthen that partnership. You guys give us a list of the schools in your district. We add that to the pre-session questionnaire. We ask the student, what school do you attend? They go ahead and fill that out, and then when you get your monthly reports, we tell you how many sessions came from each school. And of course, you can always have homeschooling or other or private school, things like that in there. But this can really help you a lot if you're trying to build a relationship with the school by giving you numbers that you need. Can also tell you which areas you need to target. If you've got great usage from one school, but you're missing, you know, the east side, you're hitting the west side, you're missing the east side, you know where you need to shift your promotion. So use your reports, okay? Get signed up for them. Like I said, just email client support at Tutor.com. Where'd it go? I have no clue. I'm just flipping through all my slides here. There it is. Client support at Tutor.com. Email us, let us know that you want to receive the reports, and then start using them to help drive your outreach in the right direction. So at this point in time, I want to pause and just see if anybody has any questions. I don't see any in the question box at this point in time, but regarding staff training reports or the new subjects, any questions for me? Or do you have any information to share with us about how you've done staff training, or if you've used the reports for something like this? I'd love your feedback. I'm just watching to see if any questions come in. I want to give you guys some time to type it out there. Again, I really love it if we have a nice interactive conversation, even though you guys are all on mute. Oh, that makes it hard. Okay, I'm not seeing anything come in, but please definitely, especially as we get into the next section, tell me what you have done at your library, even if it didn't go over very well, because it's important to us to know if we're suggesting something that's not working in a particular type of community. So let us know what kinds of outreach you've done and you've tried to promote Tutor.com so that we can all learn from each other. So next up, talking about the actual promotion. The Client Resource Center is going to be your biggest friend in this section. So I showed you guys the training and webinar side. Let's take a look at the promotional materials section though. When you come into, here we have, visited the high school and spoke to students. Great. I want to make sure you guys are actually seeing my screen because sometimes I forget and it gets hidden. So Client Resource Center, homepage, click on promotional materials. Now, a lot of these materials are going to change by August 15th as we revamp our design. But things that you need to be aware of, especially back to school kits, These are fun. We call it the New School Year Resolution Kit. It helps students set their academic goals for the year and gives them a list of activities and things that they can do in order to help meet those goals. And so the things that I like the best out of this, if you like to do little crafts in your library, we have mobiles that they can make that have medallions on them with their different goals. We also have punch cards, which are like bookmarks, and it's like going in the frozen yogurt place, you know, and every time you buy a cup of yogurt, you get a punch. Every time they do one of the activities on this list, they get a punch, and you guys can reward them if you want. You know, for every 5 punches, you get a candy bar, or if you fill up your punch card by the end of the school year, then you know, we'll have a party, something like that. But these new school year's resolution things are great for back to school time. I highly suggest you look at them. The first year we launched them, I think we had over 400 libraries download and use them. So really exciting stuff there. We also have information on how to plan your outreach or a relaunch. So you guys, if you haven't looked at this before, I'd suggest the Getting Started Guide and the Outreach Checklist. You can send out news or do newsletter articles that are already written for you. We have email templates that you just copy, paste, revise a little bit. Web graphics, I'm going to talk a little bit more about this and show you a great web page later on, but this is where you're going to find the graphics as well as a best practice guide for website placement. Things that you can print and hang up, posters, flyers, things that you can hand out, brochures, bookmarks, program cards, little guides on how to use a service. All of your demonstration materials are here, so if you're going out to a classroom, you want to show it to them, you can use one of our demo videos. You can connect to the practice classroom so you or the students can play around in there without having to connect to a tutor. We even have PowerPoint presentations that are pre-scripted and pre-built for you, focusing on parent-teacher outreach and on student outreach. Social media help. If you don't know what to post, just come in and copy and paste something there. If you need help in funding the service, we do have a Fund It section. And then here is our Spanish section. So we have posters, flyers, bookmarks, newsletter articles, a presentation, and brochure, all in Spanish if you're doing outreach to the Hispanic community. And then we also have these summer science and math challenges. These can be repurposed to use during the school year as well. So I would highly suggest taking a look at these, especially if you want to do one of the content, like a contest thing. Summer science are little hands-on activities, 6 different hands-on activities that students can do, science-related. And the math challenges are 8 weeks worth of challenging math problems for the different grade levels here. So you could make it like an 8-week program if you wanted. Doing something as simple as posting it on Facebook or putting a new question up on your website, on the blog, or, you know, however you engage with the kids each week would be through there. Or you can always print them and hand them out as booklets. So the Client Resource Center is really going to be a main place for you guys to go to get help. If you ever are overwhelmed because there's a lot of stuff on here and you need some guidance or help, just contact us. We are here to help in any way that we can, and we want to make sure that your program is a success. So that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at the basics. These are things every single library that offers Tutor.com should be doing. Staff training, we talked about. I broke these down in, you know, this is a good strategy, but if you bump it up a notch, here's a great strategy. So you want to make sure that all of your YA teen children staff is trained. That's obvious. That's who should be promoting the programs the most. But a better way to do it is to get all of the staff trained, because what do I say? Everybody knows somebody that needs Tutor.com. So make sure that you're getting the staff trained. You have to have a link on your website, and you have to have it in a place where students can find it. Burying it under a link that says resources or research or databases is not going to work. If that's where you have your Tutor.com link and you have low use of your program, that's probably why. It needs to go in an area where the audience is going to go to first. So especially if you have a teens or a kids page or a youth services page, that's where the kids are going to click first. Putting it on the home page, if your home page is designed that way, is a great way. Back to school time, if you're one of the libraries that has the rotating carousel of ads on your home page, make sure you put it in there as one of the advertisements for back to school time. A great way, great example of some website usage here is Park Ridge Public Library. They have a section specifically for homework help on their kids page. And so they have your link, or they have the graphic, nice and big. You can tell exactly where to click to get in, but they have a description. Not only that, but they have built a new tutorial, which I love. I haven't seen this before. Park Ridge had been a Tutor.com client for many, many years, and then they lost funding during the recession, and they were just now able to recover enough to bring the service back this year. And so they've done a fabulous job putting this on their website, where they even have links to the apps and instructions on how to get the apps, and they have this video that they built, and just all different kinds of information, screenshots. They walk the students through so they really know what they're getting into, and they make it an exciting service for the kids. So you don't have to go this far. This took a lot, you know, and I get that, but if you guys even wanted to do something as easy as Tappan Library, if I can get over there, it looks like my internet's running a little slow. Tappan Library, if we look at them, they have it on the homepage right here. So I could go ahead and click. Again, they have a description of the service, a little bit, so we know about it. Click here to learn more. Before I click there, though, let's look in there. Teen services, right there in the drop-down. Children's services, right there in the drop-down. Very easy to find for the students. So we'll go ahead and click in, and you'll see that Tappan has created a what we call a landing page. It's more information about the service, and instead of creating their own video, they've linked to the Tutor.com demonstration video, which is a great time saver, easy to do. So excellent website placement is going to be very important to getting your service out there into the community. So make sure that you're taking, you know, at least just one little extra step there. Going back to the basics, flyers, hang them up, of course, in the library, in your teens and children's section. Better thing is, get outside the library. 98% of the usage comes from outside of the library. It's remote, so go out in your community. Laundromat, Panera Bread, Starbucks, grocery stores, churches, their youth bulletin board. All of these different places in the communities have bulletin boards where you can hang up information. Put a flyer up there. See if you can get teachers to hang flyers in their classroom or posters at the school. Get outside the walls of the library, though. It's very important. Same things go with bookmarks. You know, you guys should be giving out a bookmark of some kind to all teens and kids, student aged, about Tutor.com during back to school time. Same holds true where if you're doing a big promotion for September's library card sign-up month, they should get something with that. But one step further, taking it outside the walls of the library, get it into the school library or media center as well, and ask them to hand them out too. Demonstrate the service. When people see this, they get excited about it. If they just hear about it, they're like, how does that work? I don't really know. You're going to have some reluctancy, but if you show it to them, they're going to get in there. So utilize that demonstration video that we have on the Client Resource Center and actually show it to them. Do this at school open houses or anytime you have, a captive audience at the library. If you have like a teen program where they're going to be doing movie night or video game night or something like that, take 10 minutes at the beginning of the program, 7 minutes at the beginning of the program. Tell them about Tutor.com. Same as at the open house, but a better way, instead of the big, large audience, try for a smaller audience that you can actually interact with. See if one of the math teachers or English teachers will let you come into the classroom and demonstrate the service to the kids there. Same thing with working with local community groups. Scouting groups are really great. Church youth groups, like I said, are really great. If you happen to have a big 4-H program in your library, that's another area. So look for opportunities where you can actually get out and show it. Put an article in your newsletter. That's obvious, especially at back to school time. You guys should be having an article in there about Tutor.com. We have ones that are pre-written for you. You can just customize them a little bit. Again, one other way, get into the local media. See if you can get in your local newspaper, or even I've seen some libraries do really great segments on their morning news show about how the library can save money at back to school time as well. And then social media is another wonderful, quick, typically easy and inexpensive way to promote. You can always tweet about it. We have tweets that are available. Just make it simple. You know, the library offers on-demand tutoring online from whatever your hours, 3 to 10 p.m. Click here. You can do something as simple as that, or you can take it a step further and do something like a Facebook ad where you actually pay a little bit of money. It doesn't cost much at all. Pay a little bit to have that ad boosted, and that will reach many more patrons in your area and people in your area. I see we have a question or comment that came in. For others who want the video tutorial, it's one of, oh, Gretchen, I didn't even see you were on the call. Oh, my goodness gracious. Hi. Gretchen is from Park Ridge, everybody. It's one of several that we get with a product called Niche Academy. Pretty inexpensive. All right. So NICHE Academy. So you guys go ahead and take a look at that if you're interested in doing a video like Park Ridge did. Wonderful. Okay, so the next area to look at, targeted touch points. Marketing is all about speaking to your audience. You want to make sure that you're using the language that they use and are used to. You also need to make sure that the message you're giving is relevant to that one person. How is it going to help them? And so we've looked at a few different areas of the types of students that use Tutor.com, and we came up with these 5 audiences that we suspect a lot of our libraries have not reached yet. And so I want to talk just briefly about these, okay? Advanced placement. When we added test prep to the Tutor.com subjects as a call out, advanced placement test prep is actually the most used area of our test prep center at this point in time. And so I highly suggest you take a look at your local high school's websites, find out who the advanced placement teachers are, and reach out to them. Your messaging should be about how Tutor.com has been shown through research to help raise students' test scores by at least half a point on the AP test. Half a point is big news on a 5-point scale. And we've had different school districts who actually did the research and found that students who used Tutor.com scored on average half a point higher on their AP test than they did, or than the students who did not use it, okay? We have briefings on different research that we can provide to you. We also have top 10 tips that teachers should know about Tutor.com. That's on the Client Resource Center. So think about how you can reach out to the AP test or AP teachers within your community. Athletic coaches are another area. This actually came to us from a client library up in the Northeast, and she had created a flyer called Get Back in the Game for football, and they actually used the flyer and handed it out at high school football games, okay? We sort of took that and flipped it a little bit. Student athletes have to remain academically eligible. Some of them struggle with this. Some of them just struggle with balancing homework and practice time. You know, by the time they get off the football field and get home to start on their homework, there's not a lot of people available to help them. But Tutor.com gives them somebody to help late at night, 9 o'clock at night, if they're working on it. So think about talking to the athletic coaches about how suggesting Tutor.com to their players can help their players stay academically eligible and help lower their homework stress by having somebody there when they need them. We have Get Back in the Game flyers that cover 4 different sports at this point in time. So you'll find those on the Client Resource Center in the Hang It Up section. Ask the coaches to put them in the locker rooms. English teachers. You know, historically, Tutor.com has been about math and science. We serve about 70 to 75% of the sessions in math and science, but we have found that the writing area is increasing rapidly, and students are using not only the live tutoring, but the drop-off writing service these days as well. And so this is an area where you can reach out to English teachers. I actually work with a library out in Montana where I believe in this, I'm a little foggy on the connection here, but I believe that the school librarian or school media specialist that's out there is sort of responsible for helping the students write their papers, or not write their papers, but research their papers, but the students work on their English assignments in the library. And so what they have actually done is they sat down with each student in 7th grade and had them create a free Tutor.com account. And every time they have a big writing assignment, they make sure the students have submitted that paper through the drop-off service for review before their final hand-in. The benefit to the teacher is it does help them save a lot of red ink because they're not having to make as many corrections on the student's paper. They get a much more finalized piece of work, but they get it in such a way that somebody didn't just do the editing for the student. We're actually teaching them the writing process and teaching them the rules, the grammar rules, and what they need to know as they go through these reviews with us. And so the students are becoming better writers, and the teachers aren't having to mark up the papers as much. So this is another great new area of outreach would be your English composition teachers, or even if you're set up like in Montana, the school librarians as well. Guidance counselors, they know which kids are college bound. Oftentimes they'll know which kids are struggling as well. This is a wonderful group because guidance counselors also have that privacy with the students. so when they're sitting in their office, they can talk to the student about how to get help. A lot of kids are worried about the anonymity, or, oh, I don't want my friends knowing I'm struggling or failing this, or I don't want to raise my hand in class because I'll sound dumb. Well, there's none of that in the guidance counselor's office because it's a private setting. And so reach out to the guidance counselors, especially the high school ones, because they're going to know who's studying for the SAT and ACT. They're going to know who's writing college application essays, who's trying to apply for scholarships and need essays for that. They're going to have the students that need us the most. And so give them some flyers regarding the test prep, which are coming out in the new material, as well as some brochures, and ask them to make sure they're handing them out to the students. And then last but not least, your homeschooling parents. I know that sometimes homeschoolers can be a little hard to reach because they can, in some communities, they can be a reclusive group that stick together. But if you get one, if you can locate one homeschooler, they're going to know others within the community, because these parents, it's almost like a crowdsourced type of thing. They do oftentimes come together and work together to school their children. And so try to find a homeschooling parent or group. Some libraries actually have them connect there in the library as well, and let the parents know, they're going to get to a point where the subject matter may become very tough, and you just want them to know that the library has resources available to help them through that. You can give them what we call the safe and secure assurance, because a lot of parents are concerned about who the tutors are. This walks through our quality control and monitoring system. And also there's a top 10 tips for parents on that Client Resource Center, again, in the handout section. Are there any groups, I'm going to ask you guys as I continue to the next slide, any groups that you think I missed? Who have you reached out to in your library or in your community? Even if you just give me a two-word answer, you don't have to write a book about it. Who have you talked to about Tutor.com? I'd love to know. Lastly, in the promotion side of things, we're going to talk about contests. And these are things, again, that libraries have told us they have done, that they've had success with and a lot of fun with. So first one is a scavenger hunt, and you can do this either online or in the library. And the online one is what we actually saw, it was called the Radical Researcher, and the scavenger hunt was made up of just questions about the different databases and electronic resources they had available. One of the items on that was what hours is Tutor.com available? And so the students had to go and find Tutor.com on the website and read a little bit about it and get to know something about it. So library scavenger hunts can be great, especially if you're one of the lucky ones that get students to come in for field trips, or if you have some kind of group coming in at any point in time. The scavenger hunts are good. Writing contests, especially in November, are fabulous to have. So Tutor.com can help students or even adults that are writing short stories, novels, letters, any kinds of things like that. Essays, we can help them improve their writing process and writing abilities. And so if you guys want to hold some kind of writing contest, that would be fantastic. We've seen ones like in February. I saw one for Library Lovers Month. Send in an essay, a short essay about why you love your library, kind of thing. And they offered little prizes for it, and they suggested that they use Tutor.com for this. Referral contests. So if you have a team advisory group or board, or maybe you just have a regular group of kids that comes in, preteen kids, something like that, get them involved. Have them recommend the service and the library to their friends. A really simple way to do this is to just give them a piece of paper and say, okay, go out and tell your friends about this, and for every friend you tell, have them sign the paper. And then if you get 5 signatures, you get a prize, you know, or after a week, the person with the most signatures wins a bigger prize, something like that. But get them using it. And to kick this off, you can actually sit them down and show them the demo video, or get them logged into a session or the practice classroom. Get them excited about it first, and then have them go out and spread the word. Video contest, video production contest is something I've also seen. Have students create a commercial about Tutor.com that you can put on your website. So instead of you guys having to do the work, you can get them to do the work. There's been a few different formats I've seen with this. One has been a library that actually has a recording studio with a green screen there. They've done one. I've also seen a library that has done one using Vine. And that's when the Vine app was trying to get up and going, but have students create a Vine about their Tutor.com session. And then a third one was just, you know, submit a 2-minute long video that you made on your smartphone or with a video camera, something as simple as that. And not only do you get the students using Tutor.com and excited and involved and engaged, but it also gives you a commercial that you can put on your website or on social media. And then the last 2 here I've already mentioned, but I'll just remind you, the math and summer packets that are on the Client Resource Center, those can be repurposed for the school year. And I would suggest using those resolution punch cards as well. Even if you don't do the mobiles or the goal declaration page or any of the other more complex things, use the punch cards. They're fun, they're rewarding, it's a little incentive for the student, and if nothing else, it's a bookmark that you have to hand out. All right, so I see we have some things coming in. Oh, no, actually, folks, just had to leave at this point in time. And I did schedule it for 75 minutes, but let me just finish up really quick. I got the last thing is to show you the new materials. So we'll go through that, but as I'm showing the new material, I would love it if you guys also made suggestions for your fellow audience members. So 2 things on the new material. First one is we did have a teen poster design contest over the summer. We have not chosen the winners yet. Here are some of the entries that we received, though. The teens had to come up with a slogan about Tutor.com, as well as anime, manga, chibi style drawing. So we're going to pick the winners out of these and probably create at least 1 or 2 flyers using this anime style. That's mostly because we know that so many libraries are involved in that. Some are even having their own Comic-Cons, things like that coming out, and so we want to have some material that's relevant to that captive audience that many of our libraries have right now. So we'll be picking some of these and creating flyers out of them. And then the new material, these are so, well, I think they're cool. I'd love to know what you guys think. You know, put it in the comment box or in the question box. Definitely tell me what you think about these. It is an early mock-up, so it's not totally final, and we can make revisions. This is my designer's first draft, but it's obviously going to focus on emojis, and then we're going to have different versions for different subjects. And I'm going to flip over. I want to give you guys time to look at these a little bit better. Basically, it'll be a question about, you know, how is that subject mixing you up at the top? Very simple tagline, we can help, on-demand tutoring online, library's name, URL, and then Tutor.com at the bottom. So there's going to be all different types of materials, but this is the overall format we're using. Fun alliteration at the top. Math got you mixed up, science got you stumped, things like that. Test prep got you panicked. We'll have the emojis, and then by subject. We are starting, because we have 135 promotional pieces, we obviously can't get them all launched at once. So we will be starting math, science, writing, test prep, and then a general homework, either homework or schoolwork one as well. The materials that we're creating first, obviously you just saw the bookmarks, but we're doing bookmarks, 8.5 by 11 flyers, brochures, and then we'll have the newsletter and teacher email templates. What do you need next, though? Because this obviously isn't everything we're creating. We're going to be adding more to it, but we need to know what you're going to need next. So I'm putting up another poll. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one. Okay, Carla, I see your suggestion about having them as JPEG or PNG files. So that is a great suggestion. All right, and okay, Carol likes them. They'll appeal to the younger students as well. Exactly. We were trying to look for something that would sort of go across the wide spectrum. So wonderful. Yep. Putting them on the website and social media. Yeah, having those JPEGs is important for that. Oh, good. I'm glad you guys think they're eye-catching. So, all right. Looking at my poll here, just over half of you guys have voted. Anybody else want to let us know? What do you need next? Posters, program cards, social media calendar, presentation slides, or something else? So, and we got the something else there about the image files, which is fantastic. Okay, the most votes came for the 11 by 17 posters. And then we have business cards, or those little program size cards. That's great. Social media calendar is next. Presentations, and then the something else. Okay, good to know. This is information we're collecting in each one of these sessions that we're doing, and we'll feed that over to our designer. So at this point in time, I've wrapped up all of the information I have for you this year. I hope that you found it helpful. And I want to let you know that while our tutors can definitely help your students, we can help you as well. My client care team is fantastic, and they are so eager to connect with you guys and help in any way that we can. We can help you build a marketing plan. We can audit your website and give you suggestions for where to put Tutor.com links. We provide technical support, service support, recording questions, quality control questions, anything that has to do with Tutor.com, you can come to my team for help with, okay? Most of you, again, will probably work with Bob. If you're at a larger library system or part of a statewide program, you'll most likely work with me. And if you are new, probably within the last 3 to 6 months, then Alyssa and Ralph will be the folks that you were familiar with at this point in time. But come to any of us. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to help. Fill out our survey. Watch for the follow-up email coming about 2 or 3 hours that has the link to the recording. Share it with your colleagues, and also fill out the survey specifically for this webinar. Please let us know how we can help, and good luck. Go out there, have fun, spread the word. So thanks so much for joining me today, and have a great day.